That looks simple, doesn't it? What just happened then is what you expect to happen at the end of a record play. God dear, getting this one to do it though was something else. The mechanism is very much like a BSR deck. Underneath here on the turntable, which is belt driven by a little servo motor, is a gear wheel, and it turns a larger gear wheel with a sort of heart-shaped cam track moulded into it. Now this was full up with gungy grease, just like an old BSR deck. I don't actually think this is a BSR deck because the motor says Sankyo on it, and it's a little servo motor. But what I couldn't get it to do was to switch off at the end of the record, and you had to lift the tone arm over to here or thereabouts to get it to do that. And it would then go back and hit the armrest and shudder over it and then stop. Not very good for the cartridge. So, God dear, eventually worked out how to do it. The adjustment is, needless to say, under here. And I think what it is, this thing had been disused for so long that it had just got out of adjustment. There was a tired spring in there that needed pepping up a bit. And then the lifting of this, which you can do with this lever as well, will lift the tone arm up and down. But it's also done mechanically by the switch off mechanism, and that was partly seized and in need of adjustment anyway. So what with a new belt and oiling the motor and degreasing everything and then doing that as well, it was quite a little to do with this. This thing is so obviously a BSR rip-off, it's even got the same suspension screws. And if you're going to transport a music centre or record player that's got these suspension screws and this bouncy motorboard, heaven's sakes, make sure you wind the suspension screws out to the full extent so that the motorboard is rigid with the rest of the player, because if you don't, it'll bounce around and get out of adjustment. And I suspect that that's probably what's happened to this. It's been carried about in the back of a car somewhere and it's bounced around and got out of sync a bit. Anyway, so all's well now, thank heavens. It even switches on when it should do when you lift the tone arm. Well, the old VU meter's going well on the front. It's a funny old thing with this. Now, Lloytron, who made this, were always, well, how shall I say, politely and kindly, at the bottom end of the hi-fi come music centre market, if you like. But this thing is streets ahead, build quality wise, of most of what they make nowadays. It's really crazy. According to the tape recorder motor on it, it was made sometime in 1982, this set. The speakers I'm using with it are the old ITTs that I've pimped up with a new long throw elliptical woofer and proper crystal tweeter and all this sort of thing. Or is it? No, it's not a crystal, it's a moving magnet one. Yeah, it's got a voice coil. Yes, that's why they sound so good. So I don't suppose that the original speakers are anything like as good as those. What I have got to get for this is a new stylus by the sound of it. It doesn't sound entirely happy, so I think I'll shut it off because I don't want to wreck the record, you know. Because that record I just can't get again because it was a pressing of my parents' country dance band years ago, and they ain't in existence and neither is it any longer, so need to be a bit careful really. Anyhow, so having got this thing to go, blood out of a stone, that's another one fixed. Bye for now.